Hey guys, and welcome back to Gwent, the Witcher card game. My name is Jaggerus, and today I have a beginner Skellige deck for you guys. And this is actually a very, very cheap deck to craft. I mean, normally I put like 3 of a new kind of blue in these decks. This one, pretty cheap, right? So you need an extra Skirmisher, you need an extra Clan and Craite warrior, you need an extra Priestess of Freya, and you need a extra Clan Toradorch Shieldsmith. I probably said that wrong. And the other thing you need is some Madreams. Beyond that, everything else you start with. Fun fact, however, Juta and Dimon you didn't used to start with, so I actually had to craft this card to make this beginner deck for you guys. So feel bad for me. Anyway, this deck has like a lot of different elements that kind of come together, so I'm going to kind of go over that. I mean, we start with, you know, Geralt. We always have Geralt in our beginner decks. It's the one gold card that you start with, and it would be silly not to run it. Unless you have, you know, 4 other good gold cards, because you can have up to 4 in a deck. Then we have our silver cards, of which you can have up to 6, and we have 4. We have Prize-Winning Cow, which is just, you know, standard starter card. It can go in any deck. It is a 1 strength creature, but when removed from the battlefield spawns a Chort, which is a 9 strength creature, so you're putting strength out for the future. Then we have, basically, every faction has a 10 strength faction-specific unit. In this case, we have Juta. In Monsters, it was Manticore. In Dwarfs, it's Sheldon Skaggs, for example. So this is your 10 strength unit just for high strength. Then on top of that, we have our Scorch, which is very good for removal if your opponent plays a strong unit or just has a unit that you want to remove that happens to be the strongest unit on the board. And we have Commander's Horn to add 5 strength to all non-gold units on a row. Right, so then we're going to try and get into the kind of nitty-gritty of this deck. And basically what happens is you've got your clan skirmishers. You've got your 3 skirmishers here. And so you're going to play these out. And basically, ideally, you're going to look to buff 1. But, you know, if needs be, if someone removes it, you can start buffing a second one. So you've got these because you can use the Shieldsmith. And these add 2 base strength to a non-gold unit. And base strength means that, you know, if it goes to the graveyard, it keeps that strength. So these guys will become, you know, stronger if you buff them with the Shieldsmiths. Then, how do you get them out of the graveyard? Well, you have Priestess of Freya. Priestess of Freya resurrect a bronze non-permadeath unit. And these themselves are permadeath, so you can't resurrect a Priestess of Freya with a Priestess of Freya. However, you can resurrect a Skirmisher, and when that happens, it gains 3 base strength. So you're going to look to kind of play these and then resurrect them. Then the other strategy that we have is like this little self-wounding strategy. So depending on how you draw, you can go into one strategy or the other. Now the self-wounding strategy is that we have these 2 Axemen you see here. And they gain strength whenever another unit on the battlefield is weakened. So what you want to do is play out your Axemen, and then you can play your Clan and Craite warriors, which lose 2 strength when they're played. So these go from 9s down to 7s. Alternatively, you can use your leader ability, which spawns 2 of these. And again, they get debuffed. And this will then in turn buff your your Axeman. And then what you can do is you've got Warcry in the deck, which doubles the strength of all weakened non-gold units on your side of the battlefield. So then you can double the strength of the Clan and Craite warriors, okay? So that's more or less what's going on there. The other cards we have in here, we have a couple First Lights, just in case we go up against weather, to remove it. And we have 2 Madroim. Madroim, you spawn either a mutagen or a spores effect. Mutagen increases the base strength of a unit by 3, and spores removes 3 base strength from the unit. So you can actually use this to buff your skirmishers or remove something that might be problematic, basically. Then the Skellige class ability is that at the start of round 2 and 3, you add 1 to the base strength of every non-gold unit in your hand, deck, and graveyard. So you're looking to win rounds 2 and 3 as Skellige, ideally. If you win round 1, that is a bonus, but you want to be more aggressive in rounds 2 and 3. So, without further ado, let's jump into a game and I'll show you guys this deck.
If it's peace you desire, prepare for war.
Okay, so we've queued into Nilfgaard, and Nilfgaard can be a little bit of a pain in the butt. It's always nice to have removal cards when you're up against Nilfgaard, which this deck doesn't have a lot of. In terms of mulligan, we do not need our First Lights, so we can start by mulliganing them. Then we'll see we have the buffing unit, the Warcry, the 2 Axemen, the Shieldsmith, the 2 Skirmishers. This is like probably like one of the worst starting hands you could probably get, because we don't have, you know, everything that we need for one strategy. We have a lot of things for mixed strategies, which is a little bit awkward. I think what we're going to do for now, though, is mulligan the Axeman. And this is awkward. This is really awkward because we've got both of our war cries, which we don't want. We have no resurrections, which is also awkward. And we have one Axeman. So I think we'll open with our skirmishers. We need them in the graveyard anyway to resurrect them, should we find our resurrection cards. And we've also got the Chort we can play on this round to buff us for the next round. And he's put that straight into the graveyard for us, which is perfectly fine. We'll get our cow out. The other thing to be aware of with this faction is they can actually take cards out of your graveyard. So you want to be a little bit careful in what you have in your graveyard. Fake Siri, gain 1 strength at the start of each turn while spying. If spying when its owner passes, move to the opposite side. I don't know if I'm the owner or if he's the owner. Like, honestly, I have no idea how this works. So this will be fun. Let's put another Skirmisher out. Just so that then we have one should he try and take the one out of our graveyard. And we can actually start to buff this one with our Shieldsmiths. Which doesn't seem like a bad strategy. Like I say, I'm not entirely sure how Fake Siri works. Like, she's technically spying, which I think makes him the owner. So I guess it moves to her side. Yennefer the Conjurer is the most horrible card in the entire game. What she does is she does 1 damage to your higher strength unit each turn. And basically, the longer the game goes on, the worse this is. We're just going to pass here. There's no point continuing in this round. And you can see she moved back there. So if I pass, then the Fake Siri goes back if spying when it happens. And he got a 6 strength Fury. And that's fine. Honestly, like, we just didn't want to deal with Yennefer at all that round. It's a nasty strategy. We get our Chort, and we've got a Priestess of Freya to resurrect one of those whatever they're called in the graveyard. Those dudes. I always forget the names of specific cards. They are Skirmishers. You can see he's going to steal my strongest Skirmisher here. That is basically the Vicar of our Medic, and that was the strategy I was worried about. Unfortunately for us, there's not a lot we can really do to stop it. And actually, I think I'm going to hold off on resurrecting my own, although he might steal it, so maybe we should resurrect it just so that he doesn't. It doesn't actually seem like a bad plan. It's not going to be as strong as I would have liked it. You know, I wanted the one that I'd buffed. And maybe we should have held off on the buffing, but ultimately, I think it's okay. So, Fringilla is the 10 strength, you know, boring unit for 10 strength silver that you start with, basically, for that faction. What we're going to do for now, I think, is play our Axeman, and then we can start to play our Kraken Craite Warriors. He's played this, which gains strength whenever either player uses a leader ability, which means that, you know, I wanted to play these two, and he's going to gain 4 strength from it. But because we have the Warcry, it may still be worth playing. Unfortunately, we don't have both of our Warcry. We have 2 Warcries, and you only need 1. They're both in there to increase the chance of drawing them, basically. On the flip side, this will get a lot of units in our front row, which we can then use the Kraken Craite, not the Kraken Craite, sorry, the Commander's Horn to buff, which is nice.
Wise choice.
Oh, and he's trying to kill my Skirmisher. So we need to play some wounded units now, because we do not want him to kill the Skirmisher. So we're actually going to do this, even though it's going to buff him. Like, we don't want him to kill it, because otherwise, you know, we're not going to get the buff. So we may as well just, you know, call his bluff, I guess. I mean, we get, what, 7, and 2 strength from it. So we got, like, 16 strength. Plus the Warcry is going to give us another 14 strength, you know? So all in all, it's pretty good. And if we Warcry now, this guy will actually go up to a 6. So I think we don't have anything else that's going to get wounded. So let's just do that. And that Warcry gained us, holy crap, a lot of strength there, you guys. And hopefully we'll see a pass coming out of the Nilfgaard. I mean, if we don't, that's fine. You know, if he wants to keep playing this, we have a lot of strength in hand. The only useless card we have is the Warcry. Okay, so Morvran, he sees 3 cards and he plays 1. He has played the Emissary, which has allowed him to play the Black Infantry, which then did a lot of damage to our Axeman. We don't really care about that. Like, honestly, the Axeman, it's nice because he gets buffed by these units, but it's not, like, the only victory condition that we have. I think at this point we're going to toot. Right? I think we just have to toot. That's going to give us so many points. We got 25 points from that toot. 5 per card. I want to hold on to Juta going into the next round because she's high strength. And then the Shieldsmith is nice if we get the Resurrect. The Warcry is basically a dead card, but because I have card advantage on him, you know, it's still pretty okay. I don't think he's going to chase me now. I've got 33 points on him. Like, it's a lot of points to capture. And, you know, with Scorch, he can remove a 21, but that's it. Similarly, with Igni, he only gets the 21 points. Although I would say I would play Igni this round simply because Igni, you need 20 strength in a row. And when people have so few cards, it's unlikely that you would get to that point. And there we go. We won the round. Seems good. And there is a Skirmisher. Unfortunately, we didn't get the Resurrection card that we wanted. But it is what it is. I mean, Nilfgaard are lucky in that they can mulligan, so, you know, if you don't get a card that you want, you just get rid of it, but... it is what it is. It is what it is. We'll play our Skirmisher for now. We're playing this because if he has, like, a Scorch or something, I'd rather he remove the 8 than the 12. So we're just going to hold off a little bit on that. He plays Albridge, and we actually both draw a card, and that is huge for us! Oh my god, he's got to be feeling salty as we deck the Resurrection and pull out the other Skirmisher, which is a 14. I'm not convinced that whatever he drew there was going to be, you know, good enough for that. This is a Rot Tosser. Rot Tosser, you throw it onto a row, and then what it does is it kills the weakest unit in that row, so that'll remove our Skirmisher. This is okay. What we actually are going to do here is we're going to buff our Priestess of Freya. Just because if he's going to have another Rot Tosser, he's going to target the Skirmisher. And so, you know, we're better off not kind of dealing with that. He's gotten a 7 here. We lose an 8. But we're still ahead of him at this stage in the game. And if he does damage any of our units, we have the Warcry to buff them. We'll put out our Yuta. And that's another 12 points on us. And we've got 38 now. So he's going to have to get 18 points with one card. Which he can't do. And we can pass here. And that was huge. The fact that he gave us that top deck Freya was massive. I mean, I guess he wanted to try and, you know, steal the cards from our graveyard. But unfortunately for him, it wasn't to be. Anyway, guys, I'm going to jump into another game now. And I'll catch you guys shortly with another match.
Close ranks! For Skellige's glory!
Okay, so we've queued up into a full test, and that is a Northern Realms deck. And Northern Realms, they don't play weather, so we can afford to mulligan our weather. Now, the case of the mulligan is to look at your cards and decide, you know, which strategy you're going to focus on the first round. Are you going to focus on Resurrection, or are you going to focus on self-harm? And we have the 2 Clan and Craite Warriors and the Axeman. Alternatively, we have the Freya and the Shieldsmiths. I think what we're probably going to do here is mulligan the one of the Shieldsmiths, I think. There's my dream, so that's fine. And I think just leave it at that. We've got kind of a little bit of both strategies, which is nice. Ideally, you want all of one, because then you can kind of all in on that strategy. But as things currently stand, you know, this is absolutely fine. What we're going to do here is we're going to put our Skirmisher out. And we can afford to put him out this turn because we need him in the graveyard, so we may as well just play him. And then we'll go into a maybe a self-harm strategy here. Although we don't have the Horn, basically the card that buffs them if they're injured. So it might actually be better just to take this round kind of easy, you know, kind of chill out a little bit. Let the opponent have it, and then continue on to the second and third rounds. Because like I say, the Skellige do better in the second and third rounds because of the Skellige passive, basically. So there we have our buffed up unit. We have the Cavalry who's immune to weather. I mean, he's on 15 at the moment. What we're going to do, we're going to play our Madroim, and we're going to play Mutagen, and we're going to buff our Skirmisher. And I mean, it may have been smarter to remove Priscilla, because players do like to play Priscilla multiple times. But as it is, there it goes. We decided to buff our unit. And that might have been the wrong choice. That was somewhere where you had a choice of killing his unit or not. But seeing as we're not going to try and win this round anyway, I'm more than happy to just pass here. And let the game continue, basically. So that's okay. I mean, if you win the first round of Skellige, it's nice, but you saw all of my units there got buffed. So it's pretty okay to do it like this. Unfortunately, we're still not seeing that Horn. We do have 2 of them in the deck, but, you know, if you don't find them, you don't find them. And this strategy does work okay, you know, without it. He's playing Regis, so he's going to get a Vampire when that is removed. Basically, you get the Vampire back. What we'll do for the now is we'll get our I'll get our guy resurrected. He's in here somewhere. The 12. Up he comes. He becomes a 15. And then we go from here. What we maybe should have done, though, to begin with is Scorch. We could have used the Scorch there to remove the Dunbark, the cavalry. Okay, so this is a problematic unit. If you can remove 3 strength from a Lubberkin, you're going to want to do that. Because every turn, it buffs one of the units on the board. Which is pretty nice. Not nasty. A non-gold unit, though. And that's actually okay. Because what potentially can happen is that if he buffs this too high, we can Scorch it. So for now, what we'll do is we will play... I think we'll play Geralt for now. It gives us a lot of points and also stalls out a little bit. Because we don't want to buff this guy right now with the Shieldsmith because of the fact that like we want to you know, kill whatever it is that he's buffing. So he drew a siege support. This adds 3 strength to a unit on the board. The thing that you may notice here is that now the Lubberkin has another target, which makes life a little bit more awkward. But again, it's, you know, it's not the end of the world. We can't Scorch anything again. This is still too low. We'll put the Axeman out for now. And I guess it looks like we're going to have to go into a self-harming strategy. Which is not ideal, but not the end of the world. And this is like the situation where an Igni would be nice. Igni is probably the legendary card I would tell everyone to craft. Because basically what it does is if the row adds up to 20, it kills the strongest unit in that row. The non-gold unit, I should say. So it's quite nice in that respect. What we'll do for now is we will play our leader ability and get the two, there they are, Kraken Craite Warriors. Because the thing is, this way he doesn't know that we have them in our hand. And it's always useful to, you know, bluff a little bit. The thing you'll notice here now is that this unit now has 16 strength and this unit only has 15 strength. Which means finally we can get our Scorch out. And a 16 strength Scorch is a really worthwhile play, to be honest. Unfortunately, we can see his Lubberkin is still buffing his units. Which is honestly not particularly fun, but what can you do? You know, what can we really do about that? Not a lot. We will now play our... But this won't win. This will get us even points with him. Let's play this for now. And we'll buff our Skirmisher again. Unfortunately, we don't have a second revive. But if we draw a revive, then, you know, we can pull 17 strength out of our sleeve for the final round. Which is pretty nice. He's up to 77. We'll put our warrior out. You can see that the strength goes down, but that does buff up the Axeman. And we're not too far off him here. I have a feeling he's going to try and all in on this round. But the fact that we have Toot in hand, you know, is going to hopefully, you know, help us. Also, because of our prize-winning cow, we do go into the next round with a benefit. The problem here for us is this this Lubberkin, you know, doing all of that strength buffing. And he's passed with the 1 card remaining. We're just going to have to go for it and go for the 2 to make sure that we get the round. And that was a tough one, especially with how often that, you know, that Lubberkin did trigger. And you do see this Kai played an awful lot. Like, people really value this card, and it's one that you would want to remove. There's our 9, and we just have to hope that we get a Resurrect. I forgot about his 10, so it really is down to what we draw. And we didn't top deck what we needed, you guys. We top decked a Warcry. And that's game. There's nothing that we can do here, unfortunately. But yeah, that is the Skellige deck, and hopefully you got a flavor of both the different strategies that it has. It's a bit of a tricky one to play, because you have the 2 different strategies, and ideally you want to draw into one. But as it is, we kind of had a mix. And we still got a round, and if you can win at least 1 round, you get well on your way to winning, you know, getting more cards and being able to expand your collection. And then there's also really cool things you can do with self-harming strategies or resurrection strategies as you get more cards. But yeah, that's been it for me and the beginner deck. If you've liked this video, hit that thumbs up button. Beyond that, you know, you can find me on Twitch, live streaming Gwent at twitch.tv/Jaggerus, or on Twitter @Jaggerus. Thanks for watching, guys. Have a great day. I'll catch you next time. Bye.